Hey everybody, it's Jeff Rummel with InnRoads Ministries, and we are on our final session of the summer of one-shots. We are, I don't know, it seems like it's been going on forever, and in my head it probably has been. But I'm really excited to wrap this one up and to see what these wonderful players are going to do to my precious module. One bit of advice from your Uncle Jeff, all you game masters out there: be prepared to crush your darlings, because that's what players do. They're ruiners of dreams.
Pretty much.
But, no, I'm kidding. They're actually absolutely awesome. Some of the faces here are very familiar. Alistair took part, and so did Alyssa, took part in the Dungeon World one-shot. And you recognize TR, of course. He took part in our Stars Without Number. And then we have a new face here. We have Gary, who's going to be part of this wandering band of adventurers. So let me just go ahead and roll straight down the line here. Alistair, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, bud?
I'm new overall to role-playing games. The two sessions we played of Dungeon World were all I knew there. Tonight I'm going to be playing a half-orc monk who has high strength stat and high wisdom. So he likes punching things. And all my D&D experience is an actual play podcast that I've listened to a good bit. So
cool. Well, it's a good place to start because you can actually see folks, putting the game through its paces. So that's how I started with the system. Because I had to really tone myself down from playing Pathfinder, which is really, really crunchy, whereas D&D is definitely not. I went the opposite direction. I went to Dungeon World, which has like 3 rules, and that's it. So, all right, let's jump over to fan favorite, TR Knight. What's going on, buddy?
Right. Oh, yeah, what? Fan favorite, yeah. My second time, and I'm a fan favorite. I'm moving up in the world. Yeah. My name's TR Knight. Let's see. For me, I've been gaming for over 30 years. D&D, Advanced D&D was my second game I ever played. I started with Villains and Vigilantes. Up until recently, I've been a first ed and second ed player, so I'm one of the old school gamers. But I love 5th edition. 5th edition feels like what the sequel to 2nd edition should have been. So we won't talk about 3, 3, 5, half, whatever that is.
Just like the prequels or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. What? They don't exist. So I've been gaming for a long time. Love 5th ed. Currently running 5th ed with my family. Getting ready to run the Curse of Strahd with my main gaming group to bring them back into 5th ed. We've been doing Pandemic Legacy, so I've been busy with that. This time, I'm playing something different. For those that watched me in Stars Without Number, I was a frantic and brooding engineer. This time, I am Bragi Grimson, a very gregarious skald. Skald is the Viking word for a bard. So we'll see how well I handle being overly gregarious and being on the front lines fighting and having a good time. And that's where we're going with this one.
Well, you brought your war horn, right? I mean, you're just gonna blast that into the room.
If I had one, I would have brought it.
Yeah, baby. All right, Gary, you are up next. Hit me, man.
Very good. Well, my name's Gary Weston. I'm from Sacramento. I'm an assistant pastor at my church, Gateway Fellowship here in Sacramento. When it comes to role-playing games, I actually got my start on the Wizards of the Coast D20 Star Wars game from about 15 years ago. And which was basically D&D 3.5 in space.
Yep.
So I started there as a player and a GM. I started GMing really early on and loved it. Didn't play a whole lot of D&D, honestly, until 5th edition. 5th edition really got me into it. I love this edition so much. So I play it a lot. I DM a lot. I have a group that is made up of neighborhood kids and their parents just down the street from me. In fact, hello, Hensons. I know you guys are watching this video, so what's up, guys? They're my regular group. I go over to their house, and the whole family plays, and I'm their DM, so it's pretty fun. But we're running Curse of Strahd now, so TR, I recommend it. It's awesome. It's such a great module. It's really, really fun. So anyway, that's a little bit about me tonight. I am playing a dwarf who, to all appearances, would look much like any other dwarf. He has big granite heart, with his scale mail armor and his battle axe at his back, except for he's got a couple of things that are a little bit different from other dwarves, which are the books that also hang from his shoulder. He has a big fat spell book, and in his hand he also carries a magic rod, because Gesbic is a dwarf wizard. Very early on in his life, he fell in love with magical items and arcane mysteries and all that stuff, and decided that he'd set his heart on being a wizard. But unfortunately for him, he's not quite as smart as other wizards, but smarter than other dwarves. So he lands in this very strange middle place. But he fancies himself a treasure hunter. That's really what he is. He wants to travel the world as an adventurer and collect all the magical goodies and profit mightily from them. So that's Gesvik. That's what I'm playing.
This module is going to definitely challenge you then. That's really good. All right. Well, Gary, thank you very much. All right. Everybody here recognizes this face. She was in Victoriana, also in Dungeon World. Alyssa, how the heck are you?
I'm surviving. how I usually answer the question, how are you?
There you go.
So yeah, I'm Alyssa. If you've been watching the channel at all, you know me. This is actually maybe my second time actually playing D&D. D&D was my actual first sitting down and playing a role-playing game, and that was, in fact, with Mike Perna. I was actually also playing a character named Weaver there, and I figured I would bring that over to my character here, even though these guys are going to be complete opposites. I am currently playing, as I've already mentioned, Weaver, a halfling rogue. They are having some troubles with the Great Plague to haunt the mental health of protagonists, and that is amnesia. They know they were something of a gambler before, because they do know that they lost their identity to a sorceress in a game of cards. So they've just been trying to survive ever since. They picked their name off of the first store sign they saw, and they figured they'd just go on their way like that.
Nice. That's how you choose names in this world. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The only thing that's really bothering them is they don't have a last name, and due to halfling tradition, they have to get it via being nicknamed. And what if they get a terrible nickname?
Oh man.
That's horrible.
I plan to help with that. I'm going to give you nicknames every chance I get.
How about
Thank you, Skull.
how about Coldstone? What do you think? I mean, we're in the north, and these rocks are really cold. I mean, Coldstone.
How about Knee Knocker? I like Knee Knocker myself.
Oh, look at those olives. There's like all of these. They're like in a grove. It's like an olive garden. How about that? No.
When you're here, your family.
I don't know.
What's that on the wall? Isn't that called a tapestry? Weaver tapestry?
Ooh. All right, I could already tell I'm going to have a load of fun here.
Poor rogue.
So we're going to jump into the game now, and after this section, you'll probably see a few highlights of the shenanigans this group gets up to and how they tackle this module. And it'll be an interesting thing to compare with the session that went on the 16th, about a week ago, or exactly a week ago. But at the very end, we'll come back, talk a little bit about our experience, see what went well, see what went poorly, and then how things really shook out for the characters and the players alike. So stick around, check out the highlights. Here they come, and I'll see you on the flip side. You all go into the temple and fall into a pit and die. No. But there's like a really pretty light that comes down. It's
Good game, everybody. Good game.
I hate save from death temples.
Stay from death. Yeah, stay from temple death.
Save from temple death.
Yeah, there you go. Gel flips out of the pit and laughs all the way back home. All right. So you guys approach this temple. It's again it's made of this heavy wood that is bringing it upwards. It brings it upwards about 2 stories, and interwoven into the making of the walls is some stone that's been put in to reinforce it. And the front doors they're also made of wood, but it looks like there's like certain little gaps here and there, so it's not like it's trued up against the door jamb. So it's not like it's going to keep the cold out or something. But at the top there is the pediment. At the peak of the pediment, you see the symbol of Heimdall, which is this set of eyes that are shone with radiations of light that are coming outward. That's been carved into the pediment.
Fancy.
And it's, you know, I mean, of the buildings that are here, this is probably the nicest. It's not. It's something that will basically stand out from the rest of the village outside of the wolf's head. So you guys come to the front of it. The doors are closed at this time, but they're not locked. You guys can go ahead and make your way inside. And as I'm assuming as you do, you push the doors open. There is a bit of warmth that's inside. There's a fire that's been set at an altar at the far side of the building. And inside, they've made quite a good effort of creating a lofty feel from the interior. And then hanging far up above is this what looks like a disc that's been hung or suspended from the rafters. That's made of polished brass and maybe some other metals that have been inlaid into it to create it almost looks like a intergalactic eye that's just looking down on everything. When the light shines through it, you could probably tell that at night it may shine outward with like little pinpricks like stars, that sort of thing. But the interior is quite roomy, and it brings in about as much light as can possibly be drained from the gray skies outside. And you see two people that are inside. There's a younger man that is at a little pool that's over on the left-hand side, and he's washing some things. He's got a few implements. Looks like it might be like some gardening tools, that sort of thing he's washing. And then further on the interior, there's an older man who has a bald head and has a long beard, and he's got these robes that are a mixture of grays and yellows, and there's the symbol of Heimdall that's along the back of the robes themselves. But he also has quite a few like little trinkets and things that are dangling from him, necklaces, bracelets, that sort of stuff. That kind of rattles as he moves. And he looks over and he raises a staff and thumps it on the ground, and he says, "Hail to those who wish to be under the all-seeing gaze. Who might you be?"
I am Bragi, Grim's son.
Hello, clan friend. It is good to see that you've come back to the gaze. Have you come to worship?
I seek other men. I seek other knowledge. I seek to check the stones.
Very well. Yes.
I actually have runestones.
Nice. So he points to the opposite side where the younger man is cleaning up some implements. He points towards an altar where you can cast stones, and it has your selection of different things that you can use to mix with it. You know, whether it would be chicken blood, if you wanted to use that. There's also oils that can be used, salt, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've been
I have a symbol of Tyr that I wear. I have the hammer of Tyr.
Okay. And so he watches you. I don't know if you make your move towards the altar.
Yep.
So you ken to the new gods, do you, huh?
But he is both of old and new.
Is he? Yes, I would think he has. Tyr has been known since he was a whelp by Heimdall. He has, yes. And these others, do they wish to worship with you, or are they also here for knowledge?
I know not why they follow me sometimes.
That is, it is not strange response for this place.
Yeah, Geswick's not really in on this superstitious nonsense, so he's but he'll be polite about it. So he's going to say, "Brog, you go ahead. I'm going to wait here and do some studying in my notes." And he pulls out his journal and opens it up, sits on the floor, sits cross-legged, and starts flipping pages and reading, going back over his notes.
We'll see what happens. I actually have the different rune interpretations over here. It'll be funny.
Oh, nice.
Here we go. What did I get?
Oh, we're doing this legit, man.
I was gonna say, Gel is he thinks highly of Heimdall because of his ideas of knowledge and insight and seeing.
Right.
So he's not opposed to joining.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to follow along, that's what I'm on. Okay, let's see. I have this, which is
I can't see that, but okay.
Like a flag?
Woonho?
Yep, that's Woonho, which is the joy. So you get to do with this, Jeff, what you want to decide to do with it.
I like it. I like it.
Then we
this
get-
is good. This is good.
So we got Woonho,
Burkano.
I found it.
Mercano, which is
So, hey, welcome back. We have completed the campaign. We went a lot longer than I thought we would, which is good because we got to have some great RP in the midst of this one-shot. Thank goodness we started a little bit early, which is nice. It's very beneficial for our East Coasters and our Central Time Zoners. But in any case, let's go around the horn here and just kind of talk a little bit about our feelings about the game system and then the module itself, that sort of thing. Alistair, why don't you start off?
Oh, this was a very fun and interesting module. I enjoyed the bits of intrigue and the having to try to figure out what's going on, and then like the conclusion of it was really satisfying. The system, I really like this system. I think it's like not quite as loose as some of the systems I've seen, specifically Dungeon World, but like I really like the amount of structure and the crunchy bits that are here. So, but it's still loose enough to give us flexibility to do what we want.
Cool. Anything that you think could have gone better or maybe got in the way of the fun?
I personally have a hard time with those bits at the beginning, with the with the conversations and stuff. Just finding my way through that kind of thing.
Right.
Personally, I have a hard time figuring out which direction to head and what to kind of prompt the story with.
Right.
But once we found traction, which we found traction pretty quickly, it was a lot better. So.
Right. It's just kind of like getting over the hump of, okay, well, who do I talk to and how do I work that in? And it's something I'm kind of trying to learn more as I've trying to fine tune my GM skills, is to try and get people involved in the conversation. So
there were plenty of hooks for conversations. So it just became a matter of, where does everybody want to go?
Definitely.
It was great.
Well, cool, great. All right, well, TR, let's jump over to you, buddy.
I enjoyed it. It's 5th Ed is becoming more and more a favorite system of mine. I mean, each time I try, it's different. I'm still trying to learn it. It's the first time I've got to play a bard myself. One of my daughters has been playing one and enjoyed it, so it was fun to see what a bard's capable of.
Yeah.
I like getting into character. I like playing different kind of characters. And yeah, I do.
You definitely enjoyed being Bragi.
This was fun. I've not played this character before. So, I mean, this personality was very interesting to play. Very overly gregarious. That was fun. What I did like in Roll20, this is the first time I've got to see how you can do Fog of War and stuff with it. When we did the Stars Without Number, you did all just open maps.
Right.
This is the first time I got to see how Torchlight and wandering through a dungeon could work, and that was intriguing.
That was really cool.
It did change the ambiance of the game where you actually only could see what your character could see. So
Right.
I really liked that. I'm used to playing Theater of the Mind. I'm not a miniature player. So when I play and role play, I usually just describe things, and here's what's happening, and I describe what they can see. But doing the online, this actually helped with that visualizing, with all this being in different places. So I really enjoyed that aspect.
Yeah, it's a balance, right? You know, I'm a big Theater of the Mind person too, but sometimes it's like, you know, the digital medium. Sometimes you might miss a word here or there, and sometimes it's cool to have. Oh, here's a picture, and he said, "Hey, look at the over here," and he said stalactites because there's stalactites right here, so I can look at that or whatever. So yeah, I hear you. So what do you think could have gone better? Anything that you think could be improved?
Kind of like he said, it's always the hardest thing. We're 4 players that have, like, 2 of you have played together before. I think Alistair and Alyssa have played together.
Right.
Yeah.
But Gary and I haven't played with either of you, and it's trying to learn each other's style. We didn't make our characters together as much as we kind of made them quickly online.
Yeah.
So it took a while for us to gel as a group. I think we did.
Yeah.
But I think that was the hard thing is, in the mixture of the role playing, getting to know each other, and you trying to get the story going. I'm not saying there's a way to improve it. That was just the rough part. It took a while for us to really get going with the story.
Yeah, that's that. And again, I think these one shots are kind of a great way for me to kind of learn how to work around that, and obviously learning from wiser folks. And it's one of the reasons I do this here is to kind of hear how you guys feel about the game and what's some of the things that you could see that you would like to see in a session. So
a thing that I've often done, and I cannot remember the Latin word for it right now. Someone may remember it. InRes Media, is that what it is?
Medias Res? Yeah,
yes.
Or Medias Res.
Starting an adventure. Yeah, in media res. There we go. Thank you. If you do that, that actually can help. I found when you're playing with a new party, especially a one shot, start right in the middle of the action, then flash back to the beginning of the story and stuff.
I've done that with my trilogies and my pentalogies. I've never done it with a one shot. That might be a pretty interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
To me, that's a way you get them right into the action, and then you can back up again and go, well, how did you get to this point? You know, it's kind of like watching, like I've been watching Stargate Atlantis. It'll have that, 12 hours ago. You first watch this really bad thing happening, and you have to start all over again.
Right. But it has a freaking Arrested Development. Like, you may have wondered how we got here.
Yeah, exactly.
That would give you a really clear idea of where you're supposed to be heading. So rather than us being like, well, are we supposed to head north? Or are we supposed to, are we supposed to go down? Are we supposed to stay up?
Actually, that's not. Yeah, that is true. That's a really good point, both of you. Yeah. No, that's cool. Actually, I will have, for you guys to know, we will have plenty of opportunity to do that next year, as I will be doing a series of one shots each month. So, yeah.
The last thing I would say. This has been interesting enough that I'm trying to figure out how Roll20 works. I'd like to try running something. I think I'm going to try to do like a feng shui at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So this is enough that Roll20's intrigued me enough to try it at some point as a storyteller.
Cool.
All right, let's go over to Gary, Mr. Gesbick. How did you like things?
I love 5th edition. It is my favorite role playing system right now. I love that it will do as much as you want to do. Basically, you can come up with, I want to do this as a character, and there's a D20 roll you can make, and you can do it. I love that from the DM side of things too, because that's what keeps it interesting for me a lot of times as a DM is knowing that I'll have to respond to whatever my players come up with. These intriguing and creative ideas that pop up. So I love the system. It's for me just enough balance between being flexible and rules light, but also giving enough structure to not be, just a pure game of imagination and making things up on the fly. So it lands for me right in the sweet spot. This particular game, fun. I know nothing about Vikings. I will tell you. Viking lore, I got none of that. But there was a lot of flavor in this little village. Just walking around and interacting with the people and their worship and their superstitions, and it was in a really short period of time, a really fully orbed setting. It was a lot of fun to play in. This would be a village that I would want to come back to and play here again. So I like that a lot. If anything, I think we were never really threatened. I don't feel like as a group there was never any like, oh my gosh, guys, we might not make it. Maybe either more combat or bigger forces to take on or something might help with that. But that aside, though, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the interface with Roll20. I really had a few stumbles with figuring out how to make the character sheet make its rolls and things for me. But even so, I really like the interface. I like the dynamic lighting. I like all that stuff. So it's I kind of got a little bit of the same itch that TR did to take a look at it and say, okay, now as a DM, how do I make this? How can I use this?
Turn it to your advantage for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
But super fun. Great group, a lot of really fun characters, and
yeah, for sure.
Good situations, and just a load of fun.
Okay, cool. All right, Melissa. So, what'd you think?
All right. Well, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about the actual system.
Mhm.
I'm definitely not used to playing something quite as crunchy as this.
Right.
As far as numbers, I definitely like the systems that let you play fast and loose.
Yeah.
But it's definitely interesting. I can definitely see why this is the classic.
Right.
But it was definitely fun playing with you guys. You guys are all very creative, and Jeff is, of course, a great DM.
Thank you.
And I guess this does, like, as far as like what could have gone better. I don't really know, because I mean, it has the same problems that any one shot would have. It's that kind of trying to figure out where your characters land. And I was definitely a little off course in this one, because I had basically set up Weaver as a character the day before. So I'm usually I'm usually more familiar with like actually getting to sit down and think about my character for a couple weeks before actually getting to a table with them. But it definitely pushed my skills in just throwing stuff together, I guess.
Well, it's one of those things where you're trying to learn, sometimes like if you go to a convention or something and you're throwing down with a quick game, that sort of thing, then a lot of times they'll have pre-gens that are put in there, and we kind of did like a mixture of that. You're kind of breaking into your backstory. We did a pre-gen and going with that. So
having the pre-gen definitely helped.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to figure out those numbers within that limited space I had in the book.
Well,
it's interesting. Well, I just say it's interesting to hear Alyssa's perspective, looking at 5th edition and calling it crunchy, coming from from 4th edition and Pathfinder, and
It's not crunchy.
but
I'm
it is.
used to Numenera and Victoriana.
That's the thing. It's a lot crunchier than one of those kind of systems. So it's interesting to hear that perspective, because most of the people I think I play with most of the time came from a more math finder background. So to come in here and to come into 5th from your side, that's interesting. So
my stepping into role playing games is definitely different from how maybe you guys did.
Yeah.
Because I started role playing on like forum RPs. Like there were no dice rolls at all. It was just us and our characters throwing stories together. So.
Totally.
Hear that. Well, cool. Well, great, everybody. I really appreciate all the work that you put into it and having fun here and bringing a lot of your creativity to the table. And that's really why I get into this and why I've enjoyed this hobby for so many years. So thanks for being a great group of players. I like the idea of doing the whole starting in the middle of things and kind of firing that up in a one shot. I've never thought of doing it that way. I always think of that for a longer group or a longer game set, like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes. But that's a fantastic way, I think, to try and get things cranking a little bit more. But overall, I can't say enough about all of you. I'm really glad to finally met you, Gary. I know we've been kind of messaging back and forth here and there, and getting to play with Alistair again. It's the second time he's gone into a role-playing game. It's pretty cool. So obviously, I'm hoping there'll be more on the horizon. And the man in the myth, TR. As always, glad to have another game with you, buddy. And then of course, Alyssa, you always bring a whole bunch of creativity to the table. I'm bummed out I didn't get a drawing this time, but maybe something. Oh, what's that?
Oh, look at that.
Yes. Okay, you gotta scan that and send it to me, because that's just awesome.
Very
So
cool.
good. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for your time. Thanks again for following us and sticking around for the summer one-shots. 2017 is going to bring a whole bunch more. I know the crew at InnRoads is working on another fantastic RPG opportunity here in the next few days. Mike Perna is starting up a Numenera game, so look for that. Get involved with that game if you can, go for it. And then for the next few months after this session, I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of a break, and then, like I said, starting things new in 2017. So, all right, thank you so much. If you want to find out more about InnRoads, check the show notes. You can check us out at InnRoadsMinistries.com. And once again, thanks to all my players, Alistair, TR, Gary, and Alyssa. Thank you so much for being here. And we will
Yes,
see
sir.
you all later. All right.